Tristan Peterson here for SeemsGoodMagic.com. I'm about to go into another daily here at 9 a.m. So, do a little deck text and talking about the metagame before we go in. Start off with Chris Reanimator's most recent article on Star City games in the free section. Again, he kind of goes over his experience with his iteration of Junk Reanimator that he was playing over last weekend at the SGG Open. Apparently he did not do so well, apparently placing 289th. I'm assuming dropping probably somewhere early in the tournament. This was the Reanimator deck that did well last week at the SGG Open. Some of the deck choices that I like here, it's running 2 Vault the Archangel, which is interesting, just changing out one with a Cavern from what I run. He's also on 4 Overgrowns, 2 Woodlands, that departs from what I do. 2 main board Abrupt Decays, I've been doing that for quite a while. He's still on Fiend Hunter. I've pretty much cut Fiend Hunter entirely in my list. He main decked 2 Voices of Resurgences. If I had those online, I'd probably be main decking 2 Voices and then running another in the sideboard. There's no one in the sideboard right here. 2 Acidic Slimes in the main. A lot of the lists are now cutting down to 7 mana dorks. I'm still at 6. I like 6 as a number. It just allows me to fit some other things into the main deck. But pretty standard fare across the board. No Sever the Bloodline in the main. That's one of the differences between what I run and what that deck runs there. This was kind of the most interesting portion of the article, was Van Meter's take on some certain cards that he tried. Blood Baron. He said he would cut Blood Baron. I haven't played with Blood Baron in Reanimator, but I think he's probably pretty right here. You want to be doing other things on turn 5. Stuff that does hits value right immediately as soon as it hits the board, like Thritus or Acidic Slime. Blood Baron's good in the pro-white, pro-black clause, but he doesn't do anything like immediately. He has to deal damage to gain life, whereas Thritus just gains life right away. Acidic Slime wipes the land right away. Obzidet's a 4-point life swing right away. So I think I haven't tried him yet, but I'm not super tempted to try him at this point. Craterhoof, he didn't like him at all. Previously, our plan in the mirror was to go over the top with Craterhoof, and this was fine until Acidic Slime was unleashed. Now getting 8 mana as a Pipe Dream, hitting Mulch or Grizzly Savage is unreliable. So he wanted him for the Junk Aristocrats matchup, however, didn't pan out. So I haven't played Craterhoof in basically ever since I started playing the deck. I think my first iteration I was playing Craterhoof, but I haven't played it since then. If I were to re-add Lingering Souls, I'd probably put 1 Craterhoof in, just because it's valuable then. But at this point, I still believe Bonfire's way too big in the metagame. He's actually kind of low on Voice of Resurgence. I went to a PTQ last weekend and played traditional Rites list. In fact, I'll pull that up here. I ran 2 Voices in the main and 1 Voices in the side. And here's my PTQ. I lost my last round to a mirror match to not make the top 8. Basically, I came like 18th after losing the last round. I dropped round 2 to a aggro list, a Jund aggro list that was running Madcap Skills, and he saw Madcap Skills early and often, both games where he beat me. Round 1, I had played just a traditional green-white tokens. Round 3, I'll talk about a little bit more when I go back to this deck tech and Van Meter's article, because I played Bent Hexproof, and there was one card that really shined there. Steven Metzger here. This guy was playing a Nivik Cyclops list with America colors, so he's running like Geist of St. Traft. This lady here was playing a tokens list, a red-white tokens list with Hellrider. She kept a really poor hand the final game where I beat her, so that was to my advantage. And then this guy I played round 6. Besides losing here, I think was the only... I 2-0'd all these opponents up to here, and he was playing America Control, and I won off of Slime games 2 and 3. And then I came up against Mr. Faley here, who was playing basically another iteration of Reanimator. He won the roll, was able to slime me early and often game 1. I won game 2, sliming him early and often, and then he got me game 3, where I had a decent hand, but he was able to sever my mana dorks before I could sever his mana dorks, again because he was on the play. I probably could have done something different in game one and shipped my hand. I got kind of blinded by Voice of Resurgence in my hand and kept a hand with a little bit of mana, which then he was able to slime out pretty quickly. So kind of disappointing. I guess the PTQ that I was at was run by this Nihilist here. I didn't see this guy. I don't know Ronnie at all in the list that he was playing. Looks like could be very aggressive, but I don't necessarily think this would have been a bad matchup for me. I think the guy that beat me ended up playing an American Control list round one. I sat next to Adrian most of the day, who was playing this Esper Control list, which he was obviously a good pilot, pretty pro player there, and he lost in the finals, it looks like. So I would like to see him make it back to the Pro Tour. I think he knows what's going on in Standard, and he's a pretty nice guy all around. Plays in the Midwest PTQ scene quite a bit. So back to Van Meter's article. So he didn't like Voice of Resurgence. I played Voice of Resurgence in my list. I ran 2 in the main and 1 in the side. Basically running the same list online except for Centaur Healers. I'm supplementing them a little bit. I was quite impressed. I liked it a lot. I was happy when I saw it. It may have been my downfall, like I said, round 7, where I got blinded by it and kept the hand kind of centered around Voice of Resurgence, not knowing what my opponent was playing, and then not having it be very good. I do think he's right. Van Meter's right, and that pillar is a thing. Certainly the Junk Reanimator list doesn't need Voice of Resurgence, but it's such a upside to go over the top against Control. Generally, the matchup against Control is pretty good anyway, but this just puts it over the top. And the card is good against aggro. Even it turns them off. In the PTQ that I was playing in, the girl that I played, I think it was round 5, she cast a Searing Spear in her turn, and I triggered a token, and then she decided to kill on her turn, triggered another token, so it definitely held its weight for me. I'm going to continue to run it in the list. I think 3 being the right number, 2 in the main and 1 on the side, coming in against aggro mainly. I don't bring it in against Control. So while he says some cards didn't pan out for him, he really liked Tristani out of the board. I've been running Tristani in the main now for about 3 weeks, just one Tristani in the main, and it's funny. Here, he talks about Tristani was awesome, with the exception of red-green decks. There are other aggressive decks that slowed down, which I think is true, which able us to stabilize. Being 2/5 is huge, and I had this exact same experience that he had. Apparently he played Bant Hexproof. He curved into Tristani, into Thragtusk, into Restoration Angel. I had a guy, my round, 3 opponent, playing Bant Hexproof, which is one of the worst matchups for the deck. He got a Geist out turn 3, loaded it up turn 4, loaded it up again turn 5. My turn 3 play off of a Mana Dork was Tristani, which led into Thragtusk, where I gained 8. The turn after that, I blinked the Thragtusk. So at this point, he's beating me in the air for basically, I think it was, his Geist was a 8/6, and he was getting the Angel. So he was beating me in the air for 12 each turn. But into Thragtusk, I gained 8. Blinked the Thragtusk with Restoration Angel. At that point, I gained 15 life off of the Tristani triggers and the Thragtusk triggers. And I was able to do that 3 turns in a row. Letting one of my angels die as a chump blocker and then Unburial Rightsing it out. It was just too much to go over the top. And so even though he had a Geist loaded up that I couldn't deal with at all, had no way to interact with, just the phenomenal life game that Tristani brought to that matchup allowed me to come through and not only win that game, but then through the next game win the match off of Slum Reaper. So that's kind of where he's at. I think he's onto some things here. I definitely think Tristani is a big player right now in the Reanimator list. So going in the daily here in 5 minutes, here's the list that we'll be running. If you've watched the other videos, this list is pretty much identical to the last video. I think I've changed one thing in the sideboard at this point. I think I cut an Abrupt Decay and I added 1 Curse of Death's Hold. These cards right here are the cards mainly for any Aristocrat type deck that come in. Golgari Charm can come in against some other things. That's really interesting. I came home from PTQ. I got back to my house at 9 p.m. and I jumped right into a Premier event where I lost in the top 8. I made the top 8 and then lost to a Jund aggro list that's basically Cedric Phillips' list. So feeling pretty good about the list, feeling pretty good about going in this daily. I've kind of been on a good win streak here for the last couple weeks. So we'll be going in here in a minute. Some other choices. This card right here out of board was huge. I killed Geist of St. Traft 3 different times with Slum Reaper, and my opponent was just jaw was on the table. They didn't expect it coming. Really like it a lot. Coming in out of board against Bant Hexproof, quite good. Otherwise, we're pretty traditional. 3, 4 on the Angels, 1 Sever, 4 Rites, 2 Slimes in the main. I think that's right. I'm kind of friends with Ken Burrow, who lives in the cities. He's been on the Pro Tour. He was playing Reanimator. He cut Slime altogether. He was running Bloodgriff Demon, which I thought was really interesting, and just for card advantage. Thragtusk, 1 Garrick, 3 Mulches. Like I said, 6 Mana Dorks, 4 and 2. 1 Tristani in the main. Tristani also, if I had Voice of Resurgence online, where they're going for 40 tickets right now, also has really positive interactions with elemental tokens, being able to populate them and get some recursion there. So that's another plus for Tristani with voice. 2 Centaur Healers, which would be voices if I had them. I don't want to shell out 80 tickets for 2 cards online. Grizzly Salvage for 2 Abrupt Decays, 2 Caverns, 3 Sun Petals, 4 Temples, 2 Godless, 1 Isolated, 4 Overgrowns, and then 4 Woodlands, and 2 Basics, and 1 Vault. So the mana base could change here some. You know, I don't think going to 2 Vaults is not necessarily a bad idea. What do you cut then is the question. Do you cut a Basic or do you cut a Cavern? Cavern's so good against control to solidify any of those matchups. Cutting a Basic is probably where I would go, though I really like having the 2 Force. They're so nice in the opening hands, particularly when you want to drop Arbor Elf for Avacyn's Program turn 1. So I don't know if I would necessarily change anything to go to 2 Caverns. If I were going to add Lingering Souls back in, I think I would definitely add a Gavany to the main deck. So that's what we'll be playing here. The daily should kick here in about 2 minutes. I'm going to pause this and we'll be back. Tristan Peterson, we're back here for round 1. We won the die roll. As is our tradition, let's scout our... Well, obviously we'll play, then we'll scout. I like the sand. I'm definitely going to keep it. I've got Mulch, Grizzly Salvage, so I don't think he's going to be able to slime one of my lands off early enough, so we'll keep it here, and we'll scout our opponent. Would you like to mulligan? No. So, we're playing the Ferio. And we'll go here. Nothing. So we're going in blind, but that's okay. So he keeps. So we lead off with Temple Garden, not paying life. Next turn we mulch, just because we want to be able to get up to 5. So American Control, probably. Not a lot of other lists that are in blue and red. So this interaction is going to be huge if I can pull it off. Love to see a Cavern off of my mulch. Overgrown. Not a bad mulch. Hidden Bearer Rites, I lose Garrick. That's kind of disappointing. But again, as you've seen in my other videos, particularly the last daily, I think that I put on round 4, I was up against, I can't remember if it was American Control or another type of control deck. And getting ahead on the time game is very important. So we're basically even right now. We want to end game 1 ahead on the time game. So we want to play fast. Perfect. I dropped the Sea Cavern there, so we're going to go no. Then we're going to F6. I will not F6 through his turn. I make this mistake often of F6ing and then forgetting a Grizzly Salvage, so we are not going to do that. What's he got here? Okay, so he might be running Harvest Pyre, Blasphemous Act. We are not super concerned with Boar Struckener. which actually decreases his control count as far as his counter spells. So regardless, hopefully we see another slime. That'd be amazing. Good. So at this point, I'll put the Serenity in the yard, and I'm going to grab just the woodland. So pretty good. I have him Burial Rites Serenity this turn, which I'll probably do just to force the game. There's no reason not to do that and just deal with his Reckoner. If he far and away, I mean, if he turn burns it, then he loses his Reckoner. It also advances the game state, makes it a lot easier for me to drop a land and then slime next turn. Because if he decides to deal with this, you know, I have to swing in. It's a pretty big beater at 5/6 turn 4, you know. So we're gonna hit there, and we'll hit my Pilgrim, and then we'll hit OK, and F6. Yes. So pretty good. Feeling pretty good in this matchup right now. Let's see if he does anything. What do we got? So a second Boros Reckoner. He's missing land drops, so perfect. This is really good. So I don't have to name ooze. So now I can blink my ooze when it comes back. So we're going to declare attackers. Cut him off of red. I mean, that's really key. As long as I can keep him off of red, he can't blast in the sack, he can't harvest pyre. Next turn, possibly I even hit the blue source. So such a powerful card against control. I mean, it's, you see it early, they just almost can't win. So I'll take the damage. I don't want to lose my slime. He may be Azorius Charm here. It's possible. What do we got? Think twice. Again, I don't have to name Angel now with the cavern. So we get in. I can name Angel and blink on his turn after he draws, but I think I just want to be safe and blink right now. And that way, the positive there is if he hits a red source, then I cut off the red source. But I think cutting off the shock is just good. We're gonna hold back Arbor Elf, hold back Tristani. We don't really need to play those. We're fine on land. Accelerating, yeah, just concede. So we're American Control. This is actually I'm still a favorite versus American Control. It is probably of the two main control decks, it's probably the more difficult of the two. Now he is on a Boros Reckoner plan, so we're gonna have to keep that in mind. Probably leaving both of our Abrupt Decays in. I usually bring this in because they play Rest in Peace. Probably I won't bring it in because when they play the Reckoners, usually they're more on a creature heavy plan. So we're going to take those out. Basically, the cards I'm setting over here are the cards that I want to see in my opening hand. Tristani's not bad in this matchup, but she's not particularly great either. She doesn't shine like she does in the aggressive matchups. So at this point, I think this is going to be my game plan. Take one Angel Serenity out, 2 Decays, just in case we see Reckoner and he's running Harvest Pyre and things like that. We're going to assume he's not going to run Rest in Peace. We're going to assume he's going to run like Purify instead. Sim Collector is really good. Again, the list is not heavy on creatures, so I feel pretty good taking one Serenity out. We leave all the Unbarrow Rites in just because any chance we get to recur slime is good. Recurring Thragtusk is also really good. Just getting that life swing, that life gain. Sever's not bad. You know, I mean, I move Exile Reckoners, but not where I want to be. I'd rather just be hitting them for 2. So we'll roll with that. Submit. Oh, this is a great hand. I lead off with Godless Shrine into Woodland Cemetery, into Grizzly Salvage, into Grizzly Salvage. I've got a Cavern, so I'm hoping off one of these Grizzly Salvages I can dig either, dig a slime, basically. I'm not going to mulligan. Let him go. Again, we're ahead on time by 15 seconds. In case we go long, we want to be able to be ahead on the time. So, good draw there on Barrow Rites. I can hard cast it. I like actually drawing it because then that way I can sneak it in and sneak it past a counter and get it into the yard that way. What do we got? Augur. So he's probably actually not running Aetherling since he's on. He whiffed on his Augur. I'll take it. S6. So again, we're not S6ing this here because we want to salvage. I'll let him beat in. Got white. He's got all his colors, but he's only got one white source. So what do we got? We're gonna Grizzly Salvage. Never had this countered. Maybe this would be the first time. I'm gonna take land or Arbor Elf. I accelerate a little bit faster in a Thragtusk, but I'm gonna be Grizzly Salvaging next turn. So we need more white, particularly for hard casting angels. So pretty heavy on land. Maybe should have taken the Arbor Elf there, but we'll play that. We won't give him any more information. He's giving me the Augur beat down now. Reckoner. No Reckoner. Okay, we're gonna go here again. Grizzly Salvage. Acidic Slime. I'll take Thragtusk. Not the most ideal, but Thragtusk is good. We got lots of Thragtusk going on. So we might actually name Beast, depending on what we draw. Since he's hit every land drop. And I mean, he does do things like turn and burn, which makes us lose value on Thragtusk, but we'll see if he taps out. He's holding up counter magic. Yet again, so we're going to name Beast here. Always important to hold back the Cavern as long as possible so that you can, I mean, he may be sitting on 2 counter spells right now, and value there. Like to be naming Slime there, but, next turn I just play the Vault and see what he does. He may he doesn't have the mana to turn and burn right now. We'll see what he does. Yeah, so we're going to Searing Spear, get a Beast, which is fine. So next turn, I'll drop the Vault and I'll bluff that. And then I'll probably try to cast one of my Barrow Rites. Actually not, I'll probably just play the other Thragtusk, just because. So we'll drop the Vault and we'll bluff as we swing in that we're going to Vault and go to 25. Oh, he's just going to block. I'll trade with him. We got a Restoration Angel? Okay. So no Restoration Angel. At this point, we'll drop another Beast. barely ahead on the time game, so still feeling good there. We don't drop the Arbor Elf because it's very possible actually he can't verdict, he needs another white source, but that we could run into some board wipe. This deck also tends to run Mizzy Mortars. What do we got? You're going to Snapcaster Smear, which is fine. We're ahead on card advantage at this point, so again, this deck is probably not running Rest in Peace since he's on the Snapcaster plan. I'm assuming he's running more board wipes like Mizzy Mortars. Yeah, if I can hit one slime to get that white source. He's thinking about something here. Maybe an overloaded mortars, a possibly Cyclonic Rift. Nope, we're just gonna pass the turn. Okay, there's my slime. A little late to the party. Block. It's fine. So I'm gonna play my land, and I'm gonna try to force a counter spell here. Hopefully we see a Dissipate or Syncopate. Oh, no. Interesting. So he allowed me to resolve that. That's fascinating. Where do we got? Another Searing Spirit. Okay, so we're on a Beast Token Beatdown. It's fine. Oh, we hit second blue. There's no, that's fine. Yep, Detention Sphere. Yep. So he has one card in hand, which is oh yeah, I got double slime now. We're in very good shape. So we're gonna cut him off of white, unless that one card is a Dissipate, and it wasn't. So we'll go there. And F6, feeling pretty good. Next turn, I'll Rites my Thragtusk, most likely. So I'm just decay this at the end of his turn. So now I'm faced with the choice where I can hardcast Thragtusk or Barrow Rites. Since I have the Cavern Naming Beast, I will hardcast it. I tapped one too many manas. Whoopsie. Still has no white. So we'll swing in. Will threaten lethal next turn.
So even if he Museum orders overloads, I still swing back for 6 now. This was a really odd keep for him. I guess maybe he was hoping he was going to draw no more blue. I mean, we didn't see one thing twice. We didn't see an Azorius Charm to cycle. We'll take the win. So there's round 1. It'll be quite a ways till round 2. We've got 113 people in this event. Back for round 2 in a little bit.